Our bodies are super complex, and that means that there are a lot of things that'll actually come into play when it comes to our health and fitness, other than how we're moving our bodies and the food that we actually eat. Today, we are going to be talking about 5 nutrition facts that will affect your weight loss and health journey that you might not know about. The most important thing I will ever say in a YouTube video is that our body simply cannot perform properly when we're dehydrated. So our bodies have a whole schwack of different systems that it relies on in order for us to be alive, let alone for us to be able to lose weight or to just be healthy. The thing is, though, is that none of those systems are going to work if they don't have enough hydration. So let's break it down a little bit, though, because there's a lot of people who are confused about what hydration even means. Very simply put, hydration is going to be achieved when we have a balance of electrolytes and water in our system. It takes 2 to tango. So yes, we need water, which is fairly obvious, but we also need electrolytes. Mainly potassium, sodium, and magnesium are really going to be important in making sure that we're maintaining adequate hydration levels for our body to be able to do all of the things that it needs to do to keep us healthy and fit. A couple rules of thumb would be to always start your day with water. So before you brush your teeth, before you shower, even before that first cup of coffee, try to get half a liter of water in your system. Try to supplement adding pink Himalayan salt to a lot, if not most, of your meals, and make sure that you are drinking lots and lots of water before and after you exercise. It's so important that we stay hydrated because not only will our body not function properly, but that's actually going to make us feel pretty crappy. You might start noticing headaches, crankiness, more cravings, lethargy, that you just don't quite feel full. These are all very, very common symptoms of dehydration, so we gotta make sure that we are staying on top of our water intake. The second thing to consider that might not be so obvious that plays a huge role in our health and fitness is the way that we pair our foods together. As you guys might know, our food is made out of 3 major components, our macronutrients. And those are our fats, our proteins, and our carbs. Each one of our macronutrients has a different rate of absorption in our body or rate of digestion. Carbs have a very simple molecular structure, which means that when we eat them, they get broken down in our system very, very quickly. And what that does is it actually causes a very intense blood sugar spike. And what happens when our blood sugar goes up, our pancreas sees that and knows it needs to bring those blood sugar levels back down so that we can be healthy. Then it secretes insulin. Insulin pulls the sugar out of our blood, drops those blood sugar levels, and we're all good to go. But the thing is that insulin takes that blood sugar and stores it for use, for energy, for later. And I use the quotes because energy stored for later, as you guys might know, is our body fat. Body fat is just energy stored for later. Of course, we don't always want that much energy stored. So we want to try to eliminate major insulin spikes out of our diet. And how we do that is try to eat a little bit of protein with everything you eat. And the reason why is our proteins are very complex structures, so these take a long time to digest, therefore making it so that we don't necessarily have big raises of insulin, rather kind of just little ones along the way, which is what we're looking for. Carbs are the exact opposite, so they get broken down very, very quickly in our system. Let's say we eat a couple donuts, that's going to go in our system, and almost immediately that is going to raise our blood sugar to the max, and then our body has got to secrete a ton of insulin. Remember, that insulin is just going to take everything it finds in your blood and store it as fat. So we want to try to avoid eating, for that reason, our carbs and our fats together. What happens is if we have excess fat in our system at the same time that we had that crazy high blood sugar rush from all those carbs that we just ate, then everything is going to kind of get stored as fat. Whereas if instead of having carbs and fat, we have carbs and protein, the carbs and the protein kind of work with each other, where even though the carbs are going to digest quickly, being consumed with something that digests a little bit more slowly is going to kind of level things out a little bit. So again, we're not getting those crazy high blood sugar rushes and insulin secretions, but we're just getting little ones that kind of bump along the way, and that's going to help us be able to store less fat. So I know you've probably heard it before that we should be getting 8 hours of sleep a night, and that is so true. The more that we can get, the better. Here's the catch. It's not just about, like I said, the length of sleep. We also need to make sure that we are getting a quality, consistent sleep. A few tips I recommend would be to set a bedtime that you actually go to bed at. Whether that is, 9 o'clock at night, midnight, or even 1 in the morning. Always try to go to bed at the exact same time. This is going to help your body to be able to set its own internal schedule. A lot of the problems that we have with sleep is because our internal schedule is all messed up from going to bed at different times and waking up at different times and being on our phones too late and daylight savings time crap that's going on. So try before you go to bed to have at least an hour of time away from any screens or electronics. This is really going to help our brains just relax and slow down so that we can get a nice restful sleep. Sleep is absolutely crucial because not only do we feel like crap when we don't have enough sleep, I mean, we've probably all been there when you don't get enough sleep and you're tired and you're cranky and you have cravings because your body knows it needs energy, and it either gets energy from sleep or food, and you didn't get enough sleep, so that must mean that you need to eat more food. And when our body sends us cravings because we're tired, it's not going to be cravings for like carrots and broccoli. It's going to be for stuff that you don't want to eat, or maybe you do want to eat, and that's the problem. Our baked goods, things that are going to give us really, really quick energy. And the problem is quick energy is not the most reliable energy because you're going to have that blood sugar rise, you might have a bit of energy, but then you're going to crash and feel way worse than you did when you started. It is a really good idea to make sure you get enough sleep to prevent those kinds of cravings, but to also make sure that if you are faced with a difficult decision, let's say that you didn't sleep last night and you're coming home from work and you're just like, damn it, I don't want to have to cook food for the kids, I don't want to have to cook food for myself. So you already kind of have some cravings, you decide to stop at the drive-thru. But the problem is now you're not just feeding yourself this drive-thru food, but you're also feeding that to your kids and your family as well. And sure, once in a while for a treat, that is fantastic, that's so much fun. But it's always better when those kinds of things are done as an intentional treat as opposed to just because you are too exhausted. Another thing too is when we don't get deep enough sleep, we're also not going to be burning the amount of fat that we could be burning or getting the muscle building and muscle toning that we could be getting. Because believe it or not, we tear down the muscle in the gym, but it's actually at bedtime that we are building our muscle and when we burn a majority of our fat. So make sure that you are really taking advantage of those 8 hours of shut-eye. You deserve it. You deserve those 8 hours, so really try to honor that and get your sleep. Speaking of sleeping and bedtime, the next big thing we need to chat about is your bedtime protein. So this one is a little bit more specific towards the food that you're eating, but getting protein in before bed is going to be a game changer. And I know, especially when you're losing weight, it feels kind of counterproductive, like to be eating calories right before you go to bed. But I'll tell you something, you can't eat past 6 p.m. or you'll store it as fat. That's a myth. It is not true. In fact, the opposite's happening. Like I mentioned before, when we're sleeping is actually going to be prime time for fat burning as well as muscle building. But we can't actually build any muscle if we don't have the building blocks to do so. Not to mention, when I drink some protein before bedtime, I am in a much better mood when I wake up in the morning because I'm less hungry. The final important nutrition fact I want to touch on in this video is that we absolutely, irrefutably need healthy fats in our diets. For the last couple years, for the last 20 years, I think, fats have gotten a very bad rap in media. People think that fats make you fat. I honestly hate that the words are the same because that's just not true. Fats actually give us energy and they give us hormonal support and help us be able to balance our hormones so that we don't have crazy cravings or crazy, just insane mood swings. Healthy fats give us mental energy. They make sure that we're not sad all the time. They can help us prevent anxiety and depression. Healthy fats are so important when it comes to our diet. With that being said, there are 4 different kinds of fats that you may have heard about. Some of them are good, and some of them we are going to want to try to avoid. Our 4 types of fats are our monounsaturated fats, our polyunsaturated fats, our saturated fats, and our trans fats. So the 2 that we're going to want to try to avoid are our trans fats and our saturated fats. And you're gonna find a lot of those ones in things like baking, in refined foods, fast food, you find a lot. You're not gonna find trans fats and saturated fats as much in naturally occurring foods, whereas our others, our unsaturated fats, we're gonna be finding in things like oils, nuts, avocados, and we even are gonna have some healthy fats being found in different meat sources, specifically fish. If you are a fish eater, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but our bodies can't actually make all of the different kinds of omegas that are available. So if we actually supplement with fish in our diet, we are going to have healthier skin, healthier nails, healthier eyes, and again, I'm just gonna have that phenomenal brain energy that we can really only get from those high quality healthy fats. When we want to make a long-term, sustainable, enjoyable, and lasting change in our health and fitness, we need to make sure that we are looking at more than just the things that might be really obvious. Our nutrition and our fitness. Yes, those are 2 very, very broad terms, but there's so much that falls in between there that we definitely need to take a look at to get the most bang for our effort buck. We are looking to make dramatic changes. So thank you guys for tuning into my little fit video. If you guys enjoyed the first of our nutrition facts series, definitely let us know in the comments, give us a like, subscribe, and go ahead and check out some of our other videos in this series. We really want to make sure that you guys feel you have the support. If you guys enjoyed the first video for the nutrition facts series, definitely let me know. We want to make sure that we're not just creating content, but content that you actually need. So definitely leave it in the comments below. If you have any suggestions, more than happy to hear those as well. And I seriously cannot thank you guys enough for joining my little video. We will talk to you at the next one.